now it's time to try and figure out what the best way is to try and fix this, whether it's just completely make it from scratch or whatever. So looking at the ones column, that's plenty of space. Twos, that's almost a friction fit. Fives, two of them don't fit very well. The tens, one doesn't fit very well, but the rest are fairly snug. 20s, it kind of works, but it's fairly tight. The 50s, one doesn't fit and it's fairly snug. The 100s have plenty of space. The 200s, it's very tight and one doesn't fit. 500s have plenty of space. The thousands, which don't get used very often, have slight wiggle room, but not much. And this last one, this one, all three of those, and these two. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them need adjusted. Let's see what the best way to do that is. Alright, so first I have to get the felt out and get the little boards out to see if this process is even going to work or if I'm going to have to remake everything. So after a little bit of figuring out, I was like, alright, I'll get my little chisel and try and cut and pry, and luckily I used the blue tape. It came out easy. And then check for spacing just to see, and alright, yeah, it looks like that size is going to work, so yay. Alright, I think I got most of them fixed. Basically, I had to take out the ends. You can see there's now a gap in here because the board that was going across is now gone, so it extends up higher. So basically what I did, luckily I put the blue tape on. That has actually helped. But I basically jammed a screwdriver down in there and pried, and that popped the super glue on these ends. And then more or less, if I just pull, come on, that gets most of the wood out. And then I just have to pry out that bottom bit, and then I can extend the felt up. Now I'm going to still have to redo things. This is just still in testing phase, but hold on a sec. I had to use 2 hands to get that up out. Then once the little wood bits are out for the testing phase, just flatten that back out and go the extra distance and press it down with that to make sure it's down in the corner good and such. And then grab the stack and stick them in. Those the right ones? Those are not the right ones. I'm at the wrong end. Those are 50s. These are the ones that are supposed to go there. No wonder it didn't fit. The 10s were supposed to go in that spot. So yeah, now the 10s have space, whereas before they didn't. So that's the amount of space. So now let me get them all back in this test mode. Alright, now all of them are in the right spot. And so the 1 flops back and forth. 2 flops back and forth. 5 flops back and forth. 10 flops back and forth. 20 flops back and forth. 50, 100, 200, 500 flops back and forth the most, but I didn't have to change that one because that one I measured correctly. Now I just have to figure out how best to make this part look right. So I have to figure out if, how much I'm going to have to adjust felt-wise and change out felt, and then somehow be able to fill in these little corners because I'm not going to want the little open spots. So I have to figure out how to make that look right. Now that I got one of them off, it's time to try and fit things back in. I should say. Now that I got them all out, because I didn't show that. If you see one, you've seen them all. Now I'm going to try and fix and put little pieces of wood in the spots that opened up because I pulled out the one side and also enlarged it. So I need to fill in those little spots so I have somewhere to stick the felt. And yeah, it's just as fun as you think. And I realized I need to get the little slicer again because some of these things, it's not simple. I thought it was bad with doing the little box before. These little pieces are tiny. You'll see one later, and there was what happens if you push down on plastic on a soft surface you put your screwdriver through. So I realized that some of these I have to replace the felts. So I just cut and redid that because, hey, got to do what you got to do, get it to work. And because of the felt was supposed to be on the lower piece of wood, I had to clean off some of the wood such that things would fit better. The felt would go up over without causing a problem, but that was fine. And yeah, and just super glue stuff in, cut little chunks of felt for enhancing the side pieces, and yeah. I realized that had super glue on that side piece. It was a big hard spot, and the bottom was also screwed up, so I just replace them both. It's not worth fighting with. I don't want to have these look horrible, right? If I'm going to make something, I want it to actually look good. And so I had to go in and fix that. And that one, I think I only had to replace 2 bottoms. The rest I was able to redo without replacing the bottoms and just add in the little corner side pieces. But yeah, it worked out. It takes a while. Lots of little pieces, like I said. Yeah, these are basically the little pieces are just slightly longer than the angle to try and get them to go up the rest of the way. Because since I took the side out, I had to, extend it basically, extend the vertical sides to a new end piece that didn't have 45s on. There's a little tiny piece. Yeah, fun stuff. Alright, well, I managed to make the pieces bigger. It's not as perfect of a felt as the first time, because I had to redo some things. I think it's still okay. Hope it's okay. But yeah, it's at least bigger now, which is what it really needed. So I'm hoping that should be fine. So now I have to adjust these things, because as you can see, this one, felt is right there. That one, the felt is up underneath. That one's up underneath. That one's up underneath. That one, that one, that one. So I now have to figure out if I can successfully make those slots bigger without this looking horrible. If it looks horrible, I'll have to redo it. That's okay. That's what happens when you do stuff wrong. You gotta fix it no matter what it takes. Alright, so now it is time to try and figure out where to cut these wooden pieces, assuming it's going to work, larger such that I can get things sorted. So first put blue tape on, because then I can mark on there instead of on the boards. And I used the 1.83 inches to mark from where the felt was, so that's why I was holding it there. I was holding it from the one side of the felt up and marking the tape, and now I'm drawing pencil lines of where those marks were, and then the goal is there's drawing the sides so I don't go across the ends. And then the goal is to take it over and use the little Dremel with the plunge router base. And now the only issue with this is I should have probably had a good way to hold that down. I didn't, so I was just holding it down with my hands as well as using the thing. And that's not ideal because it tended to move around a little bit, so it was not as stable as it could have been. It worked. I only had one bobble that went a little bit further than I had planned, and it didn't go too far to screw it up. I was able to still file it out and get it to work, but yeah, at least I have all these different tools to get it to work, because otherwise that would be horrible. And now it's just try different ways to filing. I tried a little bit when it was in there. I couldn't get it right. And then I tried going vertical. And I was using the saw to get the little corners so that was a little bit easier, because I didn't go clear to the corner because I didn't want to screw up the other side pieces. So this is cutting the sides closer to where they're supposed to be, and then using the chisel to bust those little chunks out, and then just go back and do filing and cutting and trimming. And yeah, I didn't show you all this. It took a while, but you get the idea. You just go through and clean up all the spots that were bobbled. There's what it looks like when it was all cut out. You can see on some of the spots it's lacquered. Well, there was only one minor bobble with the Dremel, and it wasn't too bad to recover from, which is good. So I was able to get all these up in like they were supposed to be, and they tilt some and they wobble back and forth, which was the goal. I don't know if it's tilted as much as Alex wanted, but these are now tilted as much as this one. These are not, but I didn't touch those. But the other ones all seem to fit, so hopefully that's going to be good. So you can see, here, it's now up that far, where it wasn't before. It's up that far, up that far, up that far. That one I didn't do. This one is up that far, and this one is up that far. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and now they all fit down in and have some space like they were supposed to. Except for these, but again, he doesn't use these very much, so I'm hoping those are going to be alright. They at least fit, even if they don't tilt as much as he wanted. So, let's see if it works in the box. Alright, well, that part fit. Let's see if this still works. It should. I didn't change this part. It fits. and it makes noises. I think that's going to be okay. So, I think that's going to work. The wooden piece is over there drying from the spray lacquer and I think I already explained it before, but I'll do it again just because. For the ones that I changed, which is the 2s, 5s, 10, 20, 50, and 200. So 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, and 200 are the ones I lengthened the slots. So basically I took the little boards out that was underneath the felt and then extended the slot for all of those. And then what I had to do was I had to lengthen the slot for the wooden section. And what I did was, when I had originally done the math for this, that was in the version 1 that didn't work, I had extended the slots to be, instead of the maximum 1.75 inches, like these are 1.74, I extended those original plywood slots to be 1.83 inches. So that's what I did for all these ones that I changed. I changed all of those to be 1.83 inches wide. And hopefully that's going to work. That was what at least, they all fit. They slant like they're supposed to, or like was desired. They wobble back and forth, which was, that's what happens when you have actual space in the slot versus friction fit like these are closer to. So overall, what changed? I made this slot narrower. I added 2 pieces of this plastic behind each of the pieces, and that made that narrow enough to go in because he wanted that narrower so it didn't flop as much. And these I changed around such that they have more space. So yeah, as soon as that lacquer dries, this should be all good to go to send back, and hopefully this time it will be everything he wanted. We'll see, but I think it should be good at this point.